Hello viewers, welcome to our new video. In this video, we will be discussing how we can set scale or add a title block to our drawing. In order to add a title block to the drawing, we need to have the drawing along with the title block of our company. The next thing is very important, your target page size, along with the scale on which we want to print your drawing. So these two are very important things. If you don't have any information about your target page size, or if you don't have the information on what scale you are trying to print, then a rule of thumb is that for plans, we go for 1/8 inches equals 1 feet 0 inches, whereas for section drawings, we go for 1/4 inches equals 1 feet 0 inches. The 1/8 inches equivalent metric scale is 1 to 100, whereas for sections, 1/4 inches is equivalent to a metric scale of 1 to 50. So let's move to our video. So here we have our drawing. Here is our plan, which we have to make a title block for. And this is our title block. So let's see if we can fit it on this drawing. You see, it cannot fit on this drawing. So we have to scale this title block in order to properly fit it on our drawing. As I told you, we should know on what scale we need to print this drawing. As you can see, this is a plan drawing. Plan drawings are generally printed on a 1/8 scale. So for a 1/8 scale, let's see on what paper size we can get that 1/8 inch scale. For paper sizes, we have A4 paper size, A3 paper size, A2, A1, and a 0. So let's begin with paper size A3. We will be making a rectangle of A3 paper size, which is 16.5 by 11.7 inches. So here is the rectangle. In order to get a 1/8 inch scale, we have to scale this rectangle by 96. This is the factor to get the scale of 1/8 inches. You see, here we have this rectangle. If you move it here, we can see that it still doesn't fit our plan. So, on landscape view, with a scale of 1/8 inches on A3 paper size, this drawing cannot be printed. Let's see if we can print it in portrait. You see that on A3 paper size at 1/8 scale, it cannot be printed in portrait either. Now we have two options, either reduce the print scale or increase the paper size. So since we have the restriction that we must print our drawing at a 1/8 inch scale, we will go for a bigger paper size. Now we will check A2 paper size. A 2 paper size is 23.4 into 16.5 inches. Here we have it. And then we'll be scaling that by 96 in order to get a 1/8 inch scale and move it over the drawing. Here we can see that we can fit that plan at a 1/8 inch scale on the A2 paper size. So this was the first step. Let's now move to using the title block. Here we have this title block. It is for a portrait view, so we will be setting it for portrait view. Okay, so let's rotate this rectangle and move it from this corner to this corner. The second thing is that we'll be scaling this title block to the size of this rectangle. First point, reference 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Then we'll be deleting this rectangle. Here is our title block. We can move this title block into this corner and adjust that title block as per our requirement. So here you get your title block on A2 paper size. There are two precautions. First, you don't have to scale your drawing. Never ever scale your drawing. Only scale the title block. The second thing is that never ever move your drawing because we might have some off layers that will be left behind. So make sure you move the title block and not the drawing, and you scale the title block and not your drawing to fit into the title block. One more thing about how much we should scale our paper size for different drawing scales. For a 1/4 inch scale, we have to scale our paper size by 48. For printing drawings at 3/16 inches, we have to scale our paper size by 64. For 1/8 inches, we have to scale by 96. For 3/32 inches, we have to scale the paper size by 128. And for 1/16 inches, we have to scale our paper size by 192. Remember that these scales are for setting our title block in the model space. For setting our title block in layout, we will be doing another video, which will be slightly different from setting our title block in the model space. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.